I guess my brain's getting fried from the chicken and the brie. Hello everyone, my name's Stonsey Boy and welcome back to Reading with Stonsey. Today we are reading pages 87 to 99, just chapter 8. 12 pages, so it should be a pretty quick episode, and the dog breed we're reading about I thought I maybe didn't do, but I did, so that worked out. Love it when things work out just real easy and other things are just real difficult, but that's for another day. So, without further ado, let's begin. Chapter 8, The Way. I was thinking of crafting items in this world, how the process would be mental as well as physical. By the time I'd swim back around my beach, 3 clear steps that crystallized. Plan. What do I want to do? Right down to the smallest detail. Prepare. What do I need? Tools and materials in order to make my plan work. Prioritize. What do I need to do first in order to do everything else? This way guided my process in the creation of something I would soon dub my observation room. In my initial plan, I imagined a small chamber at the base of the hill western slope with an outer wall of glass blocks. In order to create a room, I would need to compare the following glass blocks, torches, and extra tools. Priority 1 was tools. Digging through the entire hill would take 1, maybe 2 extra pickaxes, which could take cobblestone and wood, which I had plenty of. Now that I had prepared with the tools and materials I had needed, I had a mental plan of what I needed to build. I got right to work picking the back wall of the bunker. At first, we were going great. I almost forgot both my empty stomach and my aching ankle until a deepening tunnel got darker. How big was this hill, I thought, sticking the flickering torch in the wall. What if I run out of torches? And that happens, I said aloud. Then I'll just go digging for more coal and finish the observation room later. It felt good for once to have an answer instead of just worrying questions, to act instead of just react. Maybe this really was the way. Turns out I don't need more torches just yet. It wasn't long before I broke into the other side and I saw the sun was dipping below the horizon. See, I shouted over the cow and sheep. The way is working. Bah, said the white sheep, reminding me in less than a minute I'd caught in the open in the darkness. Right, I said, placing my glass blocks. Should have factored in the sunset, I thought angrily, and the sides of the hill. Stupid planning, stupid mistakes. The cow must have been thinking because it gave me encouraging murr. Good point, I called back. This is my first time practicing the 3 Ps, which, now that I say it, means I shouldn't add a 4th. Practice. As the sun sank and the stars rose, I hollowed a 3 by 3 chamber behind my new clear wall. All that was left was to fix my last comforting torch to the wall. Not bad, I said proudly, wishing the world would let me just rest my hands on my hips. I turned back in the giant window, staring at the twilight. So far, nothing moved except the animals. Well, at least I'm learning that you never stop eating, I told them. Now, if only the monster would show up. Add another P, mooed the cow. Patience. Can't argue with that, I said, and settled in for a long wait. The first thing I learned this night was the monsters didn't appear until the sky was completely dark. The next thing was that they literally appeared. They didn't crawl out of the ocean or the ground like I initially thought. 1 second they weren't there and the next, pling! Okay, maybe I added the pling for dramatic effect, but you get it, right? They may just materialize, and they didn't do it one at a time. They came in mobs, zombies and spiders, and even those sneaky combustible creepers. I noticed that they didn't care about any of the animals, even when one of the sheep walked in front of the zombie. The zombie saw me, though, and made a beeline across the meadow. Instinctively, I backed up into the tunnel. Gotta build the door for this, I thought, ready to slam down a couple cobblestones in the entrance. The undead brute skulked slowly from one end of the window to the other, never planting its black eyes off me. Feeling a little emboldened by its passivity, I took a step forward and another, then hobbled right back up to the glass. Well, I asked, you're gonna attack or what? Fittingly, I got less than a blowfish grrr. I know you can see me, and your buddy kept trying to break down my door, so what's the difference now? Grrr, growled Gumperly, content to trade looks instead of blows. Well, at least I can't smell you, I sneered, and then added, can you smell me? The ghoul moaned, ending like a statue of rotten meat. What, is that it? I asked, pressing against the face of glass. Is it because you can smell me? I had no way to test this theory, other than breaking a hole in the glass, which I was not willing to do, so I chalked it up once again to the rules making sense, not just me. Whatever the rule was, smell or maybe sound or even some other sixth sense I wasn't aware of, all the other mobs seemed to obey it too. Several of the spiders came skittering toward me, their eyes sending chills down my spine. One of the anthropods just sat there looking at me while another scuffed right over my window and up a hill. Like the zombie, neither seemed to have any interest in attacking. Next came one of those silently gliding creepers, and as time I backed away into the tunnel. If I was wrong about my sense theory, and a living landmine detected to detonate next to the glass, I was toast. I even placed one block in the tunnel's entrance that I was ready to plant a second if I saw the creeper start to vibrate. Unfortunately, blocking my hand, I watched the monster glide away. My sigh of relief, however, was cut short in the moment I saw another creature emerge from the woods. Like a zombie, this one was humanoid. However, unlike its putrid, stumbling flesh bags, the thing was no flesh on its bones. In fact, it was only bones. It was a human skeleton, and the clickety-clack sound which had matched it is what I heard that first night in the woods. Was it one of you guys that shot that arrow? I whispered. I got my answer a second later when I noticed the skeleton had something in its hand, a curved stick or a collection of sticks tied together and even end by a taut string. A bow. Mystery solved. And just then another skeleton clacked into view for a second. I worried of the two of them taking pot shots at my window. Worry vanished then, and in my astonishment, the two bone beasts looked at each other, raised their bows, and began shooting. With each impact, the wooden skeleton was knocked back, flashing red, and then returned fire. Oh, I gotta get one of those bows, I said, giddy with the idea of a ranged weapon. Please just kill the other so I can grab one in the morning. And then, just a teasing answer to my prayers, the skeleton battle was over. The new challenger had beaten its rival, shooting him into a cloud of smoke. I saw a bow hovering there, the loser had vanished. Patience, I reminded myself, watching helplessly as the bow hovered just a dozen blocks from me. Glancing down to the tunnel, I thought I saw the sky lightning through the door. It won't be long now, I said, looking back to my prize, and then in my utter anguish, the weapon blinked out of existence. No, I whined, realizing the dropped objects in the world apparently have a lifespan. I didn't pick up something that morning, though. Vital proof that my shade theory was correct. Watching two zombies in one meadow and the other in the woods, I saw the exposed one burst into flames while the other remained safe. While this was happening, I thought I heard a rapid clicking above my head. It was a skeleton running or dying somewhere up my hill. Maybe I get lucky and snag a bow after all. I waited until the click-clacking ceased and limped back into the tunnel. I grunted and groaned with every smarting step of the cliff wall. In a replay of the previous morning, I got a summit into another staring contest with a spider. Okay, I said to Daytime Nightmare. If I'm right, then daylight makes you passive, and I really like it right now. To be right now. I could see something hovering behind the bulbous body. A bow. I'm a good spider, I said, taking a cautious step toward it. Good, giant carnivorous mutant. I stayed still. I took another, looked away. I crept right past the arachnid, and right before the prize I literally risked life and limb for. Not a bow, but the next best thing. A shaft was wood, oak and birch, I couldn't tell, and a sharp triangular tip looked a lot like flint. The end was made of feather, which I guess helped fly straight. So this is an arrow, I thought. Now I can only get the thing to shoot with. Moo! Moo! Came a call from down the meadow. Yeah, I got it, I called back, holding up an arrow triumphantly. But I also rems the intel on the creatures of the night. Mentally, I ran through everything I learned just from one observation. How shade worked, how skeletons attacked each other, how nothing attacked me as long as I was safe behind glass, and that last observation brought up a lingering question. Why did they stay away? Was it the absence of smell or the light? Moo, cried the cow, going back to his breakfast of green squares. Is it the light? I pressed. Makes more sense than the smell, right? I mean, if the sunlight kills monsters, or I glanced sideways just in time to see the spider vanish, banishes them, whatever you want to call it, then does a less powerful light like a torch keep them away? Moo, called the cow over in the black and white butt. I know, I said. Only one way to find out. Hiking over the easier but still painful western slope, I continued to talk out my next project with the cow. What if, I began, I set some torches outside near my observation bubble to see if they work. Planning. But, I continued, in order to do that, I need to make more torches, and to do that, I need to get more coal. Preparing. Which means that the thing I need to do is make sure I have enough pickaxes, maybe a shovel or two, in case I hit dirt and sand. Prioritizing. Which I already know how to do. Practice. Moo, warned the cow, reminding me if I need to. I know, I gripped, eager to start my new adventure. Patience. It turned out the practice was really what I needed because I had no experience with mining. Isn't that what it's technically called? Mining? Digging down into the earth and mineral resources? Well, whatever it's called, I didn't know how to do it. For starters, as I cut through the rough diagonal staircase down through the solid rock, I realized that I left the light out of my planning. This meant I had to hop back upstairs, which killed my ankle, to grab a torch from my bunker and place it and replace it in the stone wall every few blocks I dug. It was slow going, and one point almost fatal. Digging down a few dozen blocks, I came to a hard tan stone directly in front of me. Because the stone looked like sand, I dubbed it sandstone, and when I dug it out, an actual block of sand fell down to replace it. I got out my shovel, removed the new sand block, and then the next sand block, and it fell in its place. Then the third of it fell in its place, then backed up with a stream of deep blue water rushed in. I've broken through the sea, I thought, shaking my head at the blunder. I haven't thought about the fact that the island was essentially an underwater mountain, and digging at an angle would definitely find me out of the ocean. At least, this world's water is weird, I thought, remembering how the blast crater would never fill up. In my world, breaking into the sea would have flooded the entire tunnel, at worst drowning me, and at best destroying all my work. I got that going for me, I said. We're turning around and digging in the opposite direction. I have to worry about the drowning. And then, looking up at the solid blocks above me, I said, or cave-ins. I shouldn't have said that out loud. Yes, I thought I knew the sand was the only substance that didn't stick, but if I saw another sandstone block, well, I'd be warned. And yes, I know that superstition and tempting fate were silly and primitive and wrong. Still, I shouldn't have said it out loud. Because of the next moment, I knocked away a stone above my head and looked up for the first time to see a block above it come crashing down. The world went dark. I choked in gas that was drowning, not in water, but in hard, gritty stuff that scratched my crackled, and I tried to struggle free. My hand burst into open air. I clawed the smooth stone, half crawling, half swimming, and I wriggled out of the suffocating trap. I stood panting in the last step of the tunnel, feeling like an elephant that just sat on my chest. Bruised ribs, scraped skin, throat scratching, it was like it was made of sandpaper. Looking up, I saw why. I had just discovered the world's other non-stick substance, a material halfway between sand and rock. Something I'd barely noticed in my world, maybe on somebody's driveway, that had almost accomplished what zombies and giant spiders and creepy explosives failed to do. Gravel. I hacked in, feeling his stinging wounds. I now have to live with who knows how long. Getting out of my shovel, I tried to clear the column away, just like the sand. It kept falling in. Clearing the fourth cube, however, got me a little added bonus. Another sharp flake of flint. Peering up in the hole above my head, I saw a large deposit of gravel, which might hold some more flint flakes, and I ever need them. For now, I said softly, fearing my own voice might cause another cave-in. I think I'll stay well away from you. Changing the planning section of my way, I decided to modify my mining technique. Instead of going diagonally, I tried digging a spiral. 2 blocks down, turn right, 2 blocks down, turn right, and so on. That way I have not only voted the ocean, but also exactly knew what was above my head. I might have been safer, but after being buried alive, I sure didn't feel it. I didn't know if it was claustrophobic at that moment, and digging through these narrow confines of the rock, with barely enough room above my head, with only one torch that I had to keep hopping painfully back up the mine shaft to make a staircase to get. Well, let's just say it wasn't my most pleasant experience. At one point, when I probably should have been remembering the cow's warning about patience, I started to seriously consider giving up the whole operation. I began looking behind me more often, picturing the long, punchy climb back up. Was all of this worth it? Was my stupid experiment with torchlight and monster just that? Heck, the whole point was to work on making myself safer, and I almost got myself killed. Maybe I should just forget. A block of stone fell away to reveal this flecks of black coal. Finally, I breathed a chuckling groan. About time you guys showed up. Picking up the precious black lumps, I added, and there's so many of you too. I counted at least a dozen of them, and I meant 48 torches if I used up all of them at once. I could light a tree for my experiment. I thought happily in my cave, in my observation room, in the tunnel, and make them all as bright as... I stopped and stared at the rock behind the coal. It was speckled but orange, and it seemed to reflect the torchlight. Some kind of metal I wanted. Copper? Brass? Was brass naturally occurring ore that was a mixture of the other elements? I still didn't know the answer to that one. I picked out the rock and 2 identical ones behind it, and like the coal, whatever was embedded in it stayed put. I think I know how to get you out, I said, hoofing it back into the bunker and wincing with each painful step. Making torches as I went, I made sure to place them far enough apart to light my entire area of the surface. You might say I was wasting the very material I'd come for, but if these 3 new cubes turned out to be what I thought they were, then I was going back here soon. I slid the 3 metal half-speckled blocks into the furnace, placed a clump of coal beneath them, and watched the fire blaze up. What came out wasn't copper or brass, it was something much more valuable. What came out was nothing less than the metal that literally built the modern world. What came out was iron. Look, I shouted through my observation bubble in the animals. Looking at the doorway next to the window, I hobbled across the meadow and showed them my 3 shining bars. Look, right, what's that? What's right under my feet? Moo, said the cow, and the chorus of baas from 2 sheep and even a few distant cluck cluck clucks from the chickens. Yes, grass, ha ha, I said. But underneath that grass, underneath the dirt, stone, sand, and gravel, is something going to change everything around here. I raised the bars like an Olympic medal, because thanks to my new method, the way of the 5 Ps, I just kicked the Stone Age into the Iron Age. That's a real achievement. It's a joking achievement, but I mean it's a real achievement when you look at human history and all that such things. But yeah, oi. That was honestly really good. I don't know why my voice is doing that. So weird. What's also pretty weird is that today we read pages 87 to 99, chapters 8, and next time we will be reading pages 100 to 1, wait a minute, 100 to 12, no, 100 page 100 to 123, which, you know what, without the joke is a lot. Well, at least we're going to have a lot of breaks, because considering that's a lot of pages, we should have a few chapters under our belt. Nope. We have, 2 breaks, 23 pages. Ugh, that's going to be painful. But for what is basically education and what's basically for the kids, I'll go through any pain, because I'm just that type of guy. Man, that's going to be a lot of time. Speaking of time, it's time for... Reading Corner of the Day, doing it up Stonsey's way. Bop. Today we are learning about the Ibizan Hound. Today we are going to be learning about the Ibizan Hound. You know, I say it twice and people are like, I bet people think, oh, you haven't edited it. No, I have. I've edited this. I edit all of this. I just, when I'm stuck with a word, I'm not going to hide it. But yes, today we're learning about the Ibizan Hound. What a very cute, strange creature. As a baby, it looks like a bulldog, but as an adult, it looks like a... Oh, where's that dog we learned about recently? It looks like a greyhound as an adult. This dog can't pick its own species. How strange. But before you can make any opinion on something, or, you know, have a strong opinion on anything, you should always look for its history. Not only does it build your credibility, makes you look smarter in front of your grandma, your grandpa, and your random 3D image of Papyrus from Undertale, but it also just makes you a smarter person in general. And smarts isn't just about knowing things, it's about using them in the real world. For example, Einstein could have found... Einstein could have found E equals mc squared, but it was because he shared it is what made him smart. More examples later on. So, the history of the Ibizan Hound, I'm going to just call them the Ibi Hound. The history of the Ibi Hound probably shares the same roots as the Pharaoh Hound, bearing uncanny resemblance to the dogs depicted in Egyptian tombs and the jackal gods Anubis. Ancient Phoenician sea traders may have taken the dogs in the Balearic island of Ibiza, where they remained in relative seclusion. Ibiza saw many rulers through the ages, coming under the auspices of the Egyptians, Chaldeans, Carthaginians, Romans, Vandals, Arabs, and most recently Spanish. Spanish farmers on the island used them for hunting. With little outside influence, the dogs of Ibiza remained uncontaminated by crosses of other breed. The hard conditions of the island imposed stringent selection by islanders because the only best rabbit hunters could be allowed to procreate or, for that matter, survive. These factors produced hardy, true breeding dog until challenge of the ancestral stock. The first Ibizan Hound came to America in the 1950s. The breed's striking appearance aroused much attention, but has failed to track the... Man, I am just hiccupy today. It's because I had soda today. I had a new Mountain Dew flavor, so I'm very gassy. Attracted a great number of pet owners. It gradually gained in popularity to warrant AKC, the American Kennel Company, recognition in 1979, but the Ibizan Hound remains one of the rarer breeds. Ooh! Well, my son is rich and fancy, and he loves islands. And he wants a rare breed. So, Stonsey boy, what is the temperament? Is he gonna bite my dog? Is he gonna bite my son, and we would have to put it down like the mangy dog that he is? Well, you rich person that's watching this video, the Ibizan Hound's temperament is that its graceful Ibizan Hound retains great hunting instinct, using its acute senses for hearing the smell to locate small animals and relishing the opportunity to chase anything that moves. Unlike most sighthounds, it barks when chasing and is reserved for strangers. Some can be timid. It is gentle, mild-mannered, even-tempered, and loyal. It makes a quiet house pet. So now that you know that, what is the upkeep? How do I keep this dog in check? My very rich and very famous son wants to know. My son is Justin Bieber. Well, the upkeep of the Ibizan Hound, you rich scoundrel, you, is that as an independent and athletic dog, the Ibizan Hound needs daily exercise in a safe area. Ideal exercise allows for the dog to stretch out at full speed, but it needs to also be met with long walks and the jogs on the leash. Combined with the occasional chance to run full out, the Ibizan is now generally kept as an outside dog, although it can live outdoors in temperate climates, even warm shelter and soft bedding. It is a skilled jumper, which should be taken into consideration when designing an enclosure. The smooth coat requires only occasional brushing, whereas the wire coat requires weekly brushing. Now, to any children listening, cover your ears. To any teenagers or adults, please get your notes books out if you own an Ibizan Hound, for you must now know the health. Their major concerns are nothing. Minor concerns are seizures and allergies, which I think allergies are just a minor concern of all dogs. They're occasionally seen with deafness, cataract, axonal dystrophy, and retinal dysplasia. can't hear, can't see, and can't. Yeah, I think just can't hear, can't see. Suggested test should be high, though I would personally suggest the entire head. Lifespan is 12 to 14 years, and a personal note from the creator says sensitive to barbiturate anesthesia. Ooh. Now, what is the form and function? What does this dog look like if I don't look at it? Well, the form and function is that the Ibizan Hound possesses a deer-like elegance and expression. Its movement reflects those qualities, and the leaf build enables it to perform the double suspension gallop with great speed, agility, and endurance. It is a superb jumper, able to spring the great heights from the standstill. It is racy, slightly longer than tall, which is the exception of the large ears. It should not be exaggerated in any way. The trot is light and graceful. The coat can be hard, either short or wire, the latter from the 1 to 3 inches in length. Now it's the end of the video, which means it's tier list time. Now let me explain you in a way, that conveniently also rhymes. So 5 is the best, 4 is better, and just so you know, 3 is average and 2 is the worst, and just so you don't know, 1 is the worst, but listen carefully, unless it comes to grooming, that makes you shout with glee. So, energy level, exercise requirements, and playfulness are all 3 out of 3. Affection level is at a 2, which makes sense to me. Friendliness towards dogs out of 4. He's pretty friendly guy. Towards other pets and strangers, though, well, he ain't gonna be sly. Ease of training's out of 2. Pretty easy, I guess. Watchdog abilities out of 4. You can put his eyes to the test. Protection ability and grooming requirements is out of 1 at 3. The cold tolerance and heat tolerance are out of 2 and 3. You'll see, because the temperature outside is something for thee to see, and then they need to be the guys to be warm inside. The weight of a male is 50 pounds, and the weight of a female should be 45 pounds. Pretty healthy. The height of a male should be 23.5 to 27.5 inches. And the female should be 22.5 to 26 inches. Man, they don't call me DJ for nothing. Oh, well, they call me DJ because it's my name, but whatever. Huh. Any fans of Disney movies would know this next breed of dog, because it is the dog you'll learn about in the next episode. So, I hope you guys have a super fantastic, wonderful day. Be polite, be efficient, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed today's reading. Although it was short, I hope you guys enjoyed at least learning about the dogs. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time.